guys, Cal here with a new video on Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Today I'm going to be discussing with you about who Venom's host is going to be that we will see at the end of the game. We're exactly 5 weeks away from the game's release date, so I thought it was a great time to put up this video and let you know about who I think Venom's host is going to be. But before that, let us lay out some facts about Venom that we already know or have been confirmed. During the Summer Games Fest, it was revealed by the game's creative director Brian Intihar that Eddie Brock is not going to be in Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Is this an Osborn Venom? Can you tell us what's the origin of Eddie Brock Venom? Or
It is not Eddie Brock.
Okay.
It is not Eddie Brock.
Okay.
Our goal was to tell an original story, something
Yes.
you haven't seen in the comics or the movies yet. Obviously,
Wow.
we love Venom for a reason.
Yeah.
All those things you love about the character are going to be there, but how the story plays out, who is Venom, you have to play the game to see how it goes.
Really?
Yeah.
Based on what Brian says, I'm inclined to believe that Venom is not going to be Eddie Brock, even though there is an Easter egg in the Spider-Man PS4 game.
The good luck card from when I left the Daily Bugle to go into research. Some really great people there.
This is mainly because Brian clearly says that the team at Insomniac wanted to tell an original story which we have not seen before in any other Spider-Man media like comics or movies. And based on this, you know that Insomniac is going to throw us a curveball, just like it did in the Spider-Man PS4 game, where the marketing and gameplay trailers were all hinting towards Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative, as the main antagonist of the game. When we played the game, it was later revealed to be Dr. Octopus. So we know that they have misled us before, and they might very well be doing it this time as well. So now that we've cleared that out, let us start with the possible theories as to who Venom is going to be. Number 1. Peter is Venom. Now, as we've seen in many gameplay trailers, the Venom symbiote is going to bond with Peter Parker, giving him that iconic black suit that we all love, and have him slowly but surely transform throughout the game's story to inevitably turn him into Venom, which has happened in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. But in this concept art by Insomniac, we see Peter and Miles are both fighting Venom, while Venom has already occupied a host, which means that whoever is the Venom's host at this point of time in the game cannot possibly be Peter. This theory leads us to believe that although the Venom symbiote will be bonded to Peter for a period of time in the game, that the Venom symbiote will eventually bond to somebody else to become the Venom that we see in this concept art. Number 2. Norman is Venom. This is another theory that I've come across from people all over the internet, and the more I think about it, the more it makes sense to me. The more you play Spider-Man PS4 and Miles Morales, the more this theory fits, since there is quite a good number of evidences that lead to this theory, as this theory is not as far-fetched as you think. Since Norman did in fact bond with the Carnage symbiote during his time as the Red Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man issue 794. So, Insomniac could take their own interpretation from that idea. This theory is one that's gaining the most traction over the internet, where Spider fans are excited over the possibility of Norman being the host of Venom, since this is something that we have not seen yet in any other Spider-Man medium. But the one last obvious theory that Insomniac is heavily marketing and alluding to with its story trailer that was released at San Diego Comic-Con is Number 3. Harry is Venom. Insomniac is heavily alluding to the fact that the Venom's host is going to be Harry. That is evident by one of the first things Harry says in the trailer.
I got a second chance, and I'm gonna take advantage of that. But I need you with me, Pete. We're gonna heal the world.
And the thing that Venom says at the end of the trailer.
We're going to heal the world.
Both Harry and Venom say we're going to heal the world, as if Insomniac wants to intentionally make it obvious to fans who Venom's going to be. And I wouldn't blame you if you heavily believe that fact, but as we know, Insomniac loves throwing us curveballs, as I said before, which is what they did in the marketing of Spider-Man PS4, as well as in Miles Morales, where we knew the Tinkerer was going to be the main antagonist of the game. What we did not know was Insomniac planned to redo the Tinkerer's character and make it so that Finn Mason was Miles' childhood friend. So based off this misdirection, if we assume Harry is going to be Venom, then there won't be room for any plot twist that Insomniac Games has built a reputation for over the past 2 Spider-Man games that we've played. So based off that, this theory feels like what Insomniac wants us to think and not what will happen in the game when we play it. There is another way to look at what Harry and Venom say in the story trailer of the game, which is where my theory comes in. Do bear in mind that the game is still a few weeks away and that what we see in the game may be completely different than what my theory is going to be, so do hear this with a grain of salt. Spoilers ahead for people who don't want to listen at this point. There is a very small chance this theory may be right, but I still am going to let you know just to be safe. Alright, with that said, as I said before, both Harry and Venom say we're going to heal the world in the story trailer, which led me to believe that in the game, based on what we've seen so far, Harry will approach Peter to help him find a cure for his illness that was referenced in the Spider-Man PS4 game, which of course Peter will agree to, as Harry believes that this cure will not only help him, but will also help millions suffering with the other genetic diseases similar to him around the world. We have seen that Venom will also play a big part in this story, where it will first bond to Peter, alienating his friends and people he cares about as the symbiote takes over his mind, but Peter will eventually take it off due to some traumatic event or something that will lead him to conclude that the suit is evil. So the symbiote will take over another host in the form of Norman due to some reason, which will mean that in this theory, Norman becomes the Venom symbiote. Now you may be asking, where does Harry fit in all this? Well, we know for a fact that Mr. Negative will have some kind of role in this game, as we see Miles confronting Martin Lee for killing his dad in Marvel's Spider-Man PS4 game, where he was being honored. So this theory leads me to believe that in the final fight between Peter, Miles, and Venom, whose host would be Norman, Harry will also join the fight in the form of, wait for it, Anti-Venom.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Now, as I said, this one is a bit far-fetched, but bear with me here. In the comics, after the Venom symbiote is separated from Eddie Brock, traces of the symbiote were left in his body. Moreover, shortly after being unbonded, his cancer returned, but that he was cured by his boss, Martin Lee, also known as Mr. Negative. In the process of curing him, Lee accidentally infused the remnants of the symbiote in Eddie's bloodstream with his power and infused them to his white blood cells, creating a new hybrid host when the Venom symbiote attempted to leave its then current host, Mac Gargan, also known as Scorpion, and bond back with Eddie, calling himself Anti-Venom. This new symbiote demonstrated tremendous healing powers that differed from the Venom symbiote, such as producing antibodies that can cure any known disease and remove any other impurities within the human body. Also, as a side benefit, the symbiote is mindless and Eddie is in complete control of it rather than the symbiote being in control. Now, coming back to my theory, if this were to happen to Harry instead of Eddie, with Lee being used to cure some kind of illness for Harry, which we know he already is suffering through, it would not only cure Harry of his illness, but it would also allow him to help Peter and Miles fight Venom, with Norman as the host, with Harry having full control of the symbiote. Now, this theory still feels far-fetched, and the only reason for me to include this theory is based on what Harry and Venom say in this story trailer, so do not get into the game expecting this theory completely, since there is a very high possibility of you being disappointed. The main reason I included this theory is because it is fun for me to hypothesize, and sometimes the comic nerd in me gets the better of me. There may be other plot holes that I may not have mentioned in this video, so do let me know anything that I may have missed in my theory, or any of the characters I may have missed as to who Venom's host is in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.